Hi, Amy here. This obviously isn't the intro you're expecting to the podcast. The usual greetings and welcome to episode 292 of the Words About Games podcast, etc., etc., etc. And then me and Moody banter for a bit, and then we talk about the news. So there was a bit of a problem with the recording, and the first 40 minutes ish of the podcast basically didn't have any audio for some reason. I don't know why. I've tried to fix it. I've tried to recover it. None of it worked. So you missed. It's going to go from this hastily recorded segment of the podcast directly into the part of the podcast where there is audio onwards to the end. So just so you know, we did do a longer episode, a normal 2-hour episode, and we missed the intro. It doesn't have sound. The banter portion of the podcast doesn't have sound, which is a shame because we had some bangers. I'm not gonna lie, it was some pretty good conversations, mostly about hot chocolate. It was weird, and with our reactions to the Nintendo Direct. So where you're gonna pick it up from is basically the news story. That follow the Nintendo Direct reactions, which is Team17 stuff. You'll see it when you keep watching the podcast. I'll put something in the description of the timestamps and obviously up on social media about you're getting this. Like, it's so hastily thrown together. This is my just chatting overlay for when I'm streaming on Twitch. If you've never seen it before, normally chat is there on the left hand side. If you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you obviously can't see me waving my arm at where chat would normally be. It's there. So enjoy the rest of the podcast. I'm going to try and figure out what the hell happened to the first part of it so that it doesn't happen again. Have a great Monday and a great rest of your week. And now I've got to go and message Moody and tell him that things went wrong. Wish me luck. We've got more news stories coming up. Team17 staff allege poor working conditions after, quote, monumentally stupid, end quote, NFT scandal. This is from Graham Smith over at Rock Paper Shotgun. He writes, last week, Team17 announced Worms NFTs and then, amid an enormous backlash from their audience and business partners, cancelled them the following day. Now, several staff at the publisher have spoken out about low pay, overwork, and management failures in a new report by Eurogamer. Speaking under the condition of anonymity, the staff alleged, quote, that the company has recently been shedding team members as many are fed up by low salaries, long hours, and concerns around HR and upper management, end quote. Excuse me. Part of their complaints relate to the company's plans for NFT. Staff say they weren't warned about the announcement before it happened, were left to deal with public harassment during the backlash, and haven't received an apology in the wake of its cancellation. Quote, it was that the managers were doing something so monumentally stupid without a thought for those who would actually bear the brunt of it. They didn't apologise to staff, even the community managers who were subjected to a barrage of abuse because of it, end quote, said one. The criticisms of the company extend much further than just this one incident, however. Several employees allege low pay, particularly among QA staff. Quote, there were people who would have to skip meals to save money, people who would have to go into the office during the pandemic to reduce their bills, people who couldn't afford new clothes, people who got an emergency bill and were in their overdraft. We took it to management, and the second time we took it to HR. Nothing came of it, end quote. There's also criticism of the company's management and HR department, including allegations that HR minimized incidents of sexual harassment, gave perpetrators a slap on the wrist, and told victims to sort it out amongst themselves. While some staff allegedly skipped meals due to low pay and had bonuses cut unexpectedly at the end of 2021, Team17 CEO Debbie Bestwick reportedly made $10.24 million, which is £7.56 million, last year. Bestwick was also criticised by staff for singling out employees in meetings to the point that they left the room in tears, as well as for asking staff to wrap family Christmas presents for her. Staff were also frustrated that, in the wake of the NFT backlash, Bestwick expressed, quote, shock, end quote, at the response in a Facebook post seen by Eurogamer. Quote, I dare anyone to question my ethics, TBH, end quote, Bestwick wrote. One woman told Eurogamer, quote, Debbie posts so many things about being a woman in the games industry on Twitter, and yet harassment is going on in her company, and people are being told, essentially, it hasn't happened, end quote. In a statement given to Eurogamer in response to these allegations, a Team17 spokesperson said that the company, quote, takes its responsibilities to its staff extremely seriously. We constantly review our internal policies and practices and assess how we support our employees through our engagement survey and through direct dialogue with the team, including newly established employee-led working groups. This encompasses compensation, workplace culture, and environment, among other key areas, to continually strive to improve our employee experience. In January, as part of this, we announced new improvements to the way we pay and reward our Teamsters, end quote. I think we both knew that this was coming after NFT gate.
I've actively applied for jobs to work at this place. I have loved and adored it, and I've even spoken to people who said really good things about the place and everything. But now when I hear this and see this, I go, I'm shocked. I'm disgusted. I'm so angry. And I'm just a person from the outside.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how it is for people who are inside. I feel for like the citizen says, I massively feel for the community managers who had to put out the NFT stuff and took all the crap, all the crap. I saw some of it and I was just like, oh my god, Jesus. And I even though I admit, I'm in their Discord and everything, and even when they put that thing in, it got actively bombarded with stuff to get to no, don't do this type of thing, thumbs down, all like that. And I was just feeling for them in general because I've spoken to them personally. Not about this, so just of when I was doing things with when I worked with them, because they were a lovely bunch. They were a lovely bunch of people who I spoke to and communicated with. QA staff, I have heard I heard before, even I applied for them, that they are underpaid compared to what it should be. I have said multiple times QA is top 5 most important jobs in the industry. No one can ever convince me otherwise when it comes to this. QA needs to be represented better, needs to be represented better from the top and not from the beginning of the game starting to the end of the game being released and everything, and people need to be looked after better and people need to be paid better in QA. But on top of this, it's just you hear the things of from the CEO. It's just that's terrible to hear those type of things, that she got staff to wrap her family's Christmas presents, and people have had to come in during the pandemic, which we were told not to leave our house to go in so they can save some sort of money and everything. And it's I hate this. I hate hearing this, and I, for God's sakes, hope that things are now on the change here, because this is the thing about it. Everything has been so quiet. I didn't know anything about it except the part of underpaying QA a little bit. Everything else I didn't know really anything about it, and I wouldn't, because I'm an outsider. The people wouldn't tell me anything like that, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason people have to say this stuff anonymously when they talk to places like Eurogamer.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. But Team17, they're one of the biggest indie publishers out there. They actively help indie developers not only QA their games, develop their games, publish the games, and release the games, and market the games, and the whole shebang. And this is just, and when you hear this type of thing, it breaks my heart. And I can only imagine, I can now kind of imagine anyone who deeply loved the Ubisoft and deeply loved Activision, and you heard all the crap and you were just oh, for God's sakes, type of thing. And I feel that now a little bit more. I think I feel it even more now because I have personally worked with them on one little thing, and I hope this is the first time they've ever had their light shone on them in a bad way. And they've had 2 weeks of nothing but crap. I hope this rectifies really fast. I hope things get sorted. And I'm just going to say, I'm sick of hearing HR doing nothing except protect the company. You can do both. You know, you can protect the staff and you can protect the company. Because if you protect the staff, you protect the company. I don't know how backwards it can be with this type of thing, but to everybody I know and I've spoken to at Team17, I hope you are all well, and I hope to God things do change and everything, because I love the company. I'll say right now, I still hope to maybe work for you one day, but I will have massive reservations if I want to apply again next time, anything like that in the future. But I hope everyone's fine, and I hope things are truly, truly, truly getting better. Please, for God's sakes, please.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
obviously,
about it.
yeah, no, that's cool. Thank you for showing me a TED talk. Yeah, no, like, I mean, I am an outsider to this. Like, I don't work for and will never work for any video game company. Like, because of what I do on Twitch here throughout like the course of years, it's like I know a lot of people who work for various video game companies. But I personally do not have any skin in the game. And it's just like I'm angry, but in that way of like not, you know, when like you're angry, but you don't have the energy to be angry. You just are angry.
Yeah,
like it's happening. It's like it's happened again. Like we saw the Worms NFT thing come out, and then there was the the backlash, and then the retraction, and then you start hearing the whispers, and it's just like it's gonna happen again. We're gonna get somebody's gonna come out with a big article about why this company sucks, all the reasons this company is bad. And it's good. It's good that these articles exist. I don't want to say that it's not good that they exist. I'm just tired, man. Like, of just like sitting here knowing that like so many companies that make so many games that I enjoy or that I even love are just time bombs waiting to go off in my face. Because they do things like treat their staff like shit. It's just fucking sick to death of it. It's never going to shut me up, and I'm never going to stop talking about it because I don't think that's a good thing to do. But
it's not the right thing to do.
It's not the right thing to do. I hope, like you do, that obviously change comes to Team17, to Activision Blizzard, to Ubisoft, to Riot Games, everywhere. But I'm just so beyond having hope that that's actually going to happen based on. And I don't want to be like Debbie Downer to your message of like optimism and hope. It's just I've seen so many companies go through this and change nothing, that I just don't have the hope in me anymore to read all of this and go, yeah, and I'm sure it's going to get better at Team17, because it can get better anywhere else. And I guess I'm just running out of optimism. Sorry, I've ran out of optimism. I should say.
Screw it. Microsoft, buy them.
Yeah, buy them. Microsoft, fix the games industry.
Fix the games industry by
fix the
buying everybody. Industry. Yeah. Amy, I completely understand where you're coming from with what you're saying, like with the lack of optimism and everything. Like we, for the last 2 years, we've talked nothing but about the crap about Ubisoft, the crap about Riot Games, the 8 odd months of nothing but crap about Activision Blizzard. And like we even said our last episode of last year, we were mentally tired. We were exhausted because of all the crap we've had to talk about. And it's not that we don't want to talk about, because we know it needs to be talked about, but when you hear it every single week practically, I think from July all the way to December, we basically, I think, had maybe 1 or 2 weeks where we weren't talking about Activision, and it was nothing but just game news, talking about games, the things we wish to talk about. That's like 50 odd episodes.
It's a lot of episodes.
No, it's not. That's a lot of episodes, and to think and how active we are, on least keeping an eye on the industry, and how active we are on Twitter when it comes to these seeing things. And like, I go to freaking college and I talk to people about games and everything. So it's in the mindset all the time. So I can understand you're like, it's tiresome and you're like, I'm not optimistic for it whatsoever. I completely understand it. I'm only a little bit more I sound like I'm trying. I'm more. It's because I know people there. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I'm hoping things will change for them and it will improve for them, because some of the people I've spoken to are some of the loveliest people I've spoken to, and they seem absolutely brilliant people. And one has actively actually helped me sort out my CV and cover letter and everything, and he's absolutely fantastic. And I hope nothing, like I say, for the entire teams, I hope nothing for the best. I hope this gets sorted.
Yeah, not to make this all about me or anything. It's just, but I think that's why. I think that's why when it came out about Ubisoft and it came out about Activision, Blizzard, really, like it hit so hard because it was like I I know people who work at both of those companies or have worked at both of those companies in the past, and then you take the stories that you hear and then you put them to the people that you know, and it was like getting punched in the face, metaphorically. And like, so I get it, yeah, I do, but I don't know. I don't even know what is there left to say. Like, these companies suck. They need to do better. I'm never gonna stop talking about it, but I guess I'm just taking a mental health checkpoint just to like acknowledge that this fucking sucks so much. I just want to love video games, and I want the people who make them to like thrive.
Be proud of what they're making and everything. Yeah,
I'll just take thrive. Like, that's it.
yeah.
That's the bar for me.
Well, like I say, I hope for the best. We will see.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Okay. I know I put this before Indie Game of the Week, but looking at the time that we've been recording, do you want to do Indie Game of the Week now, and then I'll keep going?
Yeah. It's time for the halftime break, everybody. We've spoken about Nintendo, and we've spoken about terribleness in the video games industry, but it's now time for us to talk about a video game. Yes, that's what this video game podcast is all about, talking about video games. And this week, we're talking about a Highland song. Enter the Highlands, lose yourself, find harmony, reach the sea. That sounds like Attack on Titan, basically, just without eating. Highland Song is a narrative adventure game from Equal, the creators of 80 Days, Heaven's Vault, and last year's surprise hit, Overboard. I'm in. I didn't realize this. Explore hills, crisscrossed by routes from some well-trodden, others hidden away, that are filled with stories, lost things, echoes, and memories. Planned for PC and is coming soon. Developed and published by Inkle. Overboard was one of my favorite games last year.
It
was in
one
my
of
top
your
10.
games. Heaven's Vault was one of my top 10 games of the year it came out. These people, these guys, gals, and non-binary pals, they know what they are doing when they're making games. Like, they make some fantastic video games. The second that this popped up, because I follow a billion fucking indie developers on Twitter. Like, people say, Amy, what's your secret? How do you know all these indie games? I just follow everybody on Twitter. So I get like the same like trailer spammed at me like 20 times. Like, then it breaks through. So when I saw this come up, I was just like, fuck, this looks good. Like, it's set in Scotland, like the Scottish Highlands, and like it's literally, you are like you're this girl who's like leaving home because her uncle said, like, if you can get to the lighthouse, I've got a really good surprise for you. So she's like going, the travel is from like the house to the lighthouse across the Scottish Highlands. And
so you're the Highlander.
You are the Highlander. Exactly. It's a Highlander game. No, it's not a Highlander game, but it looks so cute. And the art style again, like, pops. Like, it really pops when you look at the art style, the trailer, the screenshots.
Saving it to my
You see why I wishlisted 100 games at the start of the year, Moody? I just
Yes,
couldn't
and
help
that's why
myself.
my list is slowly moving up.
That's the
Because
that
of
was the
you.
whole point. That was the whole point of doing this new segment in the podcast. No, it looks really cool. There's a link to the game in the description, as there has been every time we've done this, and there will be every time we do it going forward. I highly suggest you check it out for yourselves. This is a nice little list. I feel like we should save these indie game of the week somewhere and make a nice little curated list somewhere of like all of the games that we bring up. Because I also do want to point out it's not just me that's doing this. Like Moody's bringing indie games to the table too. Like yours was last week.
Create something in Discord. Bring something in Discord.
Yeah, no, I mean for like everyone. Just like I'll put a link in the podcast videos. It's like you want to see a cool curated list. Go check out all these indie games that we talked about in the past. Like the developer of last week's indie game of the week now follows me on Twitter. and was like genuinely like overjoyed that we just talked about their game.
The game. Screw her. Get
I know, right? And I was like, yeah, no, your game looks cool. Looking forward to seeing more about it. But I'm happy we could do this, etc., etc. In the back of my head, I was like, pretty sure Moody dropped this in the Discord.
I take this all. I take everything I said about last week's game.
I didn't know anything about it. Like, you dropped it in the Discord. I hadn't seen any game announcements that week, so yeah. And I just went, "Do you want to do this one?" And you just went, "Yeah, okay." And I was like, "All right, cool." But
Cool.
yeah, like this
This
is the thing. It's just like we get to like, and I'm not just talking about us doing indie game of the week because this feels like a very navel gazing show at this point. Like, if you see a trailer or a screenshot, or you play an indie game, and you go, "That was cool. That looks cool. Oh, that looks interesting." Like whatever. If you have a positive thought about that game, tweet it at the developers because you're gonna make their day. Like I guarantee it. Like if you tweet like nice things about the things that they're making to them, they'll be happy. And I think that's something we all should do more of.
Yeah, we've no doubt about the last 5 years. I think the world in general has lost a lot of empathy, especially these last 2 years when it came to the pandemic and everything like that, which we're still in, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know. Yeah, it's yeah, I agree with what you're saying there. I think just tweet at them and say, "Yo, your game was awesome. Thank you so much."
Like, yeah, your game was cool. Like I said, like
that's awesome.
I've been talking to the devs of Letters. I've been talking to the devs of Letters for the last few days because I streamed their game and I was just like, "Your game's great. I fucking love it." Like, just tell people that if you see something, if someone creates something and you like it, and you see it and you like it, just tell them you like it. Like, you're not going to bother anybody. People love hearing that stuff. It's great. Do it, you coward. Do it. Anyway.
Now tweet at the developer who we talked about last week to follow me.
Yeah, everybody spam the developer of Dark
I'm the one who
Times.
found the game, and Amy's the one who gets the freaking follow. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, oops.
Not like this.
Not like this. It's fine. It's
Not
fine.
like this.
It's fine. People just like me more, that's all. Anyway, let's move on. EA won't sell The Sims 4 wedding pack in Russia due to homophobic laws. This is from Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon, who writes, Electronic Arts will not sell its new Sims 4 wedding DLC pack in Russia, the company announced on Wednesday. The Sims 4 has been considered, quote, gay propaganda, end quote, due to Russia's homophobic law since 2014, and slapped with an 18-plus age restriction prohibiting children from purchasing it. The Sims 4's My Wedding Stories DLC pack trailer focused on a gay couple's joyous engagement and wedding, and the Sims 4 team said it was, quote, not something we could freely share around the world, end quote. LGBTQ plus people in Russia have long faced harassment and discrimination, but Russia's anti-gay propaganda law has, quote, increased hostility and limited affirming education and support services, end quote, for LGBTQ plus youth, according to Human Rights Watch. The new My Wedding Stories DLC pack, coming February 17th, expands on The Sims 4's existing wedding options, adding new culturally specific ceremonies, events like engagement parties and rehearsal dinners, as well as new outfits and decorations. The Sims 4 has always allowed same-sex weddings, but my wedding story centers around a story the development team wants to tell, a gay couple called Dominique and Camille. Quote, imagining the stories our players will tell with our packs is at the heart of everything we create. For my wedding stories, we're excited to introduce you to Dom and Cam. Their love story reflects the lived experiences of so many members of our community and team. As we moved through our development and brand storytelling process, we became aware that the way we wanted to tell Cam and Dom's story would not be something we could freely share around the world, end quote. The announcement trailer centered on that relationship in an extremely adorable video that plays out like a movie.
Before we get into the crop thing, shout out to the park. Like, it sounds amazing, and like just for representation itself, it sounds amazing. I'm so happy for that. Fuck Russia. I think that's the best way to say it.
Just hold on, I'm just gonna get under my table. It's hard. So you can hide under my table. You keep talking.
Hear me come up. Don't worry.
Wait for the bombs to drop.
No, at the end of the day, I can understand why Electronic Arts have done this. They were just like, we're not going to handle it's just going to be nothing but hassle and a pain in the backside. At the end of the day, this country has a terrible law in there that discriminates against an entire sexuality, and it's disgusting and it's terrible. And I can see why Electronic Arts have just said, we're out.
It's true.
Sorry to the LGBTQ family in Russia who sadly were suffering because of this law, and I'm sure you all wanted to play this expansion who plays Sims over there, but sadly, like, it is too much of a big hassle to go through everything when it comes to Russia. So I'm not surprised whatsoever.
Being on my knees like this is really good for my posture. Really bad for my knees. Like, I've got much better posture when I'm not sitting in a chair. I want to get on a chair though.
Okay. I want a standing table.
Oh, that'd be good. But the way that you've seen the way this is set up, I can't have a standing table here.
Not gonna happen. I can. So you won't allow it.
I'd love one
because they cost a lot.
Like, to stream, like, I think it'd be good to just be able to like pop the table up and whatnot. Yeah. But anyway, we get to talk about Russia.
Back to the terrible.
Yeah, country. Like, this is. I'm conflicted about this story. Obviously, I'm not conflicted about the terrible situation for LGBTQ plus people in Russia. Like, my heart goes out of them. Of course. It's just I'm conflicted by what's happened here in terms of. It's awesome that EA was releasing this new Sims 4 pack, and has centered their marketing around a non-heterosexual relationship, right? Like, you could always do that in The Sims. You could do it in The Sims 1 and 2.
But this is marketed.
I should do it all the time. But yeah, now it's like they've centered their marketing around it, and I think that's awesome. Like, I wish, like, as much as it's going to make the gamer bros like upset, like, I wish more games would center their marketing around non-cis het characters and people and couples and relationships, because, like, for people like me, that's just normal shit. Like, and it's always awesome to see yourself represented in stuff like this. But, like, there's a lot of people in Russia who have to suffer under the laws that country has. Like, we've been through our own version of this. We had Section 28 for a very long time. And, like, things like The Sims, especially The Sims with the type of game that it is, like, that's, like, can be, like, a really good escape from a really shitty situation for a lot of people. To, like, live their dream life in this game can be an escape for that. And while I applaud EA for centering their marketing on this, and I do applaud the decision for them to not back down on that marketing to release the game in Russia, like, it's a complicated situation where it's like, if they did back down on the way they market this game, then the LGBTQ plus people who live in Russia could play the game and have that escape. But then EA is not making a stand, and you see what I mean about, like, for me in thinking, I've been thinking about this since Wednesday, like, because like obviously it popped up for me like through the week, and it's just like I've been going backwards and forwards about like what, like there's no winners in this situation. Like nobody's won here. Apart from the people who pirate the game, because it's the only way in Russia you're gonna be able to get this, right? Like, you're gonna have to pirate it. And I'm not necessarily against that because of these specific circumstances in that one specific thing. But like it is a case of like I don't know what the right answer here is. Like the right answer is Russia to stop being so backwards. That's the right answer. But it's Russia. Fuck Russia. Yeah. Here come the bombs. Whoa, what's that noise? And I could talk myself in circles for the next 10 minutes, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's no doubt about like you said, like no one's a winner here, apart Russia, I guess, is a little bit because like
because
with the anti-law,
their law
and
won,
they
right?
Like, yeah, their law won. Like, yeah, I am right there with you. Like,
oh, it's gone. Yeah, basically. Shall we move on?
Well, the next part's about apparently all you, so I'm just going to mute myself and
Oh,
stay quiet.
We're gonna have a discussion.
Oh, okay.
We've had this discussion on the podcast a couple of times in the past, but I don't think we've ever had this discussion with you in it because there was a podcast that happened once, and it was a very long time ago, where like Keith got recommended a game on Steam. That was a match 3 game. It was years ago. I don't remember what the actual game was. And I need to be logged into Steam. Great. Bear with me a second. Because I need to actually bring Steam up. There's my Steam. Look, my Steam library, everybody. You got a nice glimpse of my Steam library.
No one saw a single thing.
No, of course not. They saw it on my end. They saw it on the podcast. Yeah, you got recommended this game. Like, anybody who's been around long enough might remember this. So it was a match 3 game, and then it turned out there was a lot of non-consensual sexual acts in that game, which caught him completely by surprise. And we talked about it, and then throughout the years, we've been kind of sensitive to like seeing shit pop up on Steam where you go, "What the fuck is this even doing on Steam?" And there was a game that popped up in my Steam discovery queue this week, and I saw a bunch of people talking about it on Twitter. Pretty sure I shared it in the Discord, and unfortunately the name of that game eludes me, and I'm trying to remember it so I can find it on Steam.
Being the news one.
I wish, yeah, I think so. I tweeted it actually.
There it is. Let's have a look, Suze.
I can remember the other game. There's 2 games I wanted to specifically bring up, and I want to point out that I didn't go out of my way to find these games.
Something versus the cops, I'm just going to say.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah, because these games are cheap and popular and generating the algorithm is finding these games, right? Like, both of these games ended up in my Steam discovery queue, which I like to click through every now and again. It's another way I find indie games. Yeah, and the first one is called Tyrone versus Cops, and I just like could not believe what I was looking at. Like, about this game, and I apologize to everybody in advance because I'm going to read the description of this game, and this game contains some very racist stuff, and I'm going to read the description. There's no racist language. Actually, that's probably not true to say. There are no very bad words. There is a lot of racist language. Tyrone was minding his own business when the cops rolled in with weapons drawn, claiming that they had a warrant for his arrest. It's time to teach those pigs a lesson. This is a short wave-based combat game exploring the reality of police brutality in America. Features: play as Tyrone, Hold your gun sideways, shoot it at cops, loot their weapons after you kill them. Many different types of law enforcement officers, including boss cops. Awaken your latent power of your melanin using kills from your past lives. That last one's something. This is an incredibly racist game. And
Yeah, if I think it's fair to say, if no one realizes this yet, the Tyrone is a person of color.
yeah. Like it's
With everything that goes on in America and everything like that, to do a game like that,
like
is
awaken
deplorable.
the latent power of your melanin using kills from your past lives.
Yeah.
But this brought back a few memories for me from a couple of weeks ago where I was clicking through my Steam Discovery queue. And I saw another game. Because I don't have adult content games filtered on my Steam. Because I play some visual novels with some adult content in them. So like I like to see them when those come out. But it also means I get games like Sex with Hitler, which came out on the 22nd of January 2022, and was featured in one of my Steam Discovery queues as I was clicking through. You can guess. I don't think I need to write. I don't think I need to talk to read anything. I got no problem with lewd games, but like Sex with Hitler, just a visual novel where you just play a anime chick with massive tits and you gotta try and fuck Hitler.
As much as the mainstream Steam is, and how popular it is at the end of it, because it's the main platform when it comes to like PC gaming. I know Epic Games are trying to catch up with it, but they are, no doubt about it. We've known for a while the type of games that get put through that and easy, and to be able to release them so easy is to not be filtered, to not even be stopped, to even be allowed to be on their platform in general is a deplorable act in general when it comes to Steam. And Steam needs to wake up to this type of thing and to say, yo, what the hell? Why have we allowed this type of game? And don't give us the crap. Don't dare come at me or any of us freaking saying, what about freedom of speech? No one. Why the hell would you want to create a game like that in general? Like, seriously, Sex with Hitler or Tyrone versus the Cops, which is literally just a person of color shooting the cops.
Which is,
and that in the statement in America itself, that's just like, that's an explosive entire environment and messaging all over its place, and it's a very politically charged topical thing in America right now in general, just because of how easy it is. Yeah, no, I mean the
situation is like, it's not really the situation a black man shoots at cops, because you make a game like that, right? But like, make it that what you just talked about, make it address that, make people think about the situation in America. Not that, black people shooting at cops is the problem. It's more the cops shooting at black people. But like, yeah, you get to the part. It's like you get to the part where it's like, unlock your latent melanin powers, and then there's a screenshot going around of the game where you see like the upgrade menu, and the upgrade menu is just full of some terribly racist stuff that I'm not going to repeat here on the podcast. And you know what this game is, you know who made it, you know why they made it, and it's up on Steam. Sex with Hitler. You know why that game was made? It was made because it's incredibly offensive. It's up on Steam. A game that came out 4 years ago called Gay World, which was the one I talked about on a podcast a while ago. 2 mini games. In one, you play as an officer of gay police who must arrest all straight people, and in 2 mode, you play for straight, got to gay lag, and you need to squats on the ball. That was 2018. That game came out. Still up on Steam. All of these games get pointed out constantly that they're a thing on Steam, and Steam do not care. So I guess this is like my sort of reminder to everybody. It's like, wait, Amy, why do you have such a problem with Steam? Like, why don't you care about Epic Games? Like, Epic Games keeps buying exclusives. Like, I'm down with Epic Games buying exclusives. I don't care. Like, I care about this stuff. Like, Steam allows whatever the fuck onto its platform, and it does not care. Epic Games doesn't allow this stuff on its platform.
If anyone accepts hate speech and the bigotry in any game whatsoever, I'm just gonna say you need to go and see someone in the nicest way.
My fist.
Like that, yeah. At the end of the day, Steam have the monopoly on this right now, and it's where they go when it comes to games. At the end of the day, like you've said yourself, you've got over 100 games on there right now, waiting for them to come out and everything, and they're going to be there first in any other platform. They won't be on Epic.
Like
they won't be on. That's what I mean when I say they got the monopoly.
If a game's not on any other platform, I pick it up on Steam. Like if I get a review code for the game on PC, 95% of the time it's on Steam, so I have to activate it on Steam. Like I go as far out of my way as possible not to give Steam any money, but unfortunately I can't always go far enough because sometimes it's just not possible to not give Steam money. That's why, like when we talk about, you and I have a Steam share going. But I get a lot of my PC games on Epic Games, like, or from GOG or from other places like Itch.io, basically. And it's like, it would be a lot simpler for both of us if I got more games on Steam, but I just don't, because like if I have an alternative available to me, I'll just use that alternative instead.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to bring it up because like these two games in quick succession was just like, know what? No, I need to talk about it. I need to just point out that this is happening because it's been a while since the last time I've done this.
Fair.
Yeah. Let's crack on. Amy wants to... Nope. Raven software workers forced to endure union-busting propaganda. This is from Justin Reeve over at The Gamer. So most of this story was the stuff that we talked about on the podcast last week with Joseph Moran from PlayStation... Trophy Room and PlayStation podcast. But there was a little bit at the end that's happened in the last week that I just wanted to read. The latest development is that management at the company seems to have created an account which posts misinformation related to unionization on Slack. This was noted by Jessica Gonzalez, a former quality assurance worker and union organizer at Activision Blizzard King, who said on Twitter, quote, "In out-of-touch executive news, Activision Blizzard King leadership created a Slack account named ABK Facts, and this account is used to post union-busting rhetoric on the ABK allyship channel," end quote. The channel was made, quote, "so that we could have a safe space to discuss marginalized groups, harassment, and discrimination. They used an anti-union sock puppet account to post in that space," end quote. When employees responded badly to this move, the person behind the post, quote, basically said, "Lol, yeah, whatever, we're still posting here," end quote. Fuck Activision Blizzard.
I think you've just said it. Shout out to Jessica. She's absolutely, I follow her.
Yep.
She's absolutely amazing. She keeps calling us out, and she just keeps standing up for the amazing people who sadly are still at Activision Blizzard in the end of the day, who still have to keep to continue with all this terribleness, and hopefully it will sort out.
Yeah.
Just stand strong. You're almost there when it comes to the union. Just stay strong. Don't just ignore what they're doing. I know, mate. I can only imagine it. I can only imagine what you're saying, and I know it's probably hard, but just stay strong. You'll get there.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's kick some ass. I said let's kick some ass. Like I'm gonna kick some ass. Sorry, kick some ass. I started a sentence and then changed what I was going to say midway through, and it made it sound like I was going to kick some ass. I mean, if you want, Moody, we could rock off to Blizzard. and start kicking some
It's in
ass. No,
America.
it's in America.
That's a flight and a half. That like.
Okay, no problem. It's fine. Just so you know, though, I
You're
am
ready.
down. I'm down. I'm ready.
You're down.
I'm down. We can do this.
Okay. Similar go down to Team 17. It's close.
There's a Ubisoft not far away. We could just,
I know. So it's actually
we could just
Ubisoft
go. We
not
could
far
just go
from
there.
us.
We'll do
Speaking of Ubisoft, Amy.
episode 293 on location. Speaking of Ubisoft,
we can do our E3. We can do our E3 watch along in front of Ubisoft.
we'll just be like, yeah, it'll be great. We'll just we'll do like we'll react to the Ubisoft E3 press conference thing in front of a Ubisoft building, and the entire time we'll have a sign behind us, and we'll just be going boo, boo, and then we'll get arrested. It'd be great content.
Yeah, it's great content. Just get arrested at the end.
Speaking of Ubisoft's latest effort to convince employees that NFTs are good falls flat. This is from Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer, who writes, a new Bloomberg report says the friction between Ubisoft management and employees grew more intense on Thursday after the company posted another announcement on its internal message board laying out its strategy for blockchain technology. That message, according to the report, prompted hundreds of negative replies from employees. One employee said it was, quote, a deeply embarrassing day, end quote, to work at Ubisoft, while another asked if management was, quote, competing with EA for the most hated game studio by the public title, end quote. Ubisoft's handling of widespread workplace misconduct allegations at the company also came up, quote, our confidence in management was already shaken by the handling of harassment claims, and now this, end quote. The messaging itself is also apparently an issue. One anonymous employee told PC Gamer that the wording of the latest update from management was, quote, condescending as fuck, end quote, and contained no new information, which is a big part of why employees are so angry about it. In an email sent to PC Gamer, a Ubisoft representative said the company's strategic innovation lab has received a lot of feedback on the matter, both good and bad, quote, and we take the encouragement as well as the concerns to heart, end quote. I'm starting to turn into James Stephanie Sterling, where I start doing the voices for this stupid corporate bullshit that comes out. Low-key, though, I was thinking about this again when I was watching their latest video. Like, one of the funniest things I've ever seen in anything I've ever watched is that one video where they did the Andrew Wilson, CEO of EA, said this, and then did a Dalek voice. I still think about that sometimes. That's just editing at its best. Anyway, sorry. I distracted myself. ADHD is fun. Quote, how players can benefit is and always will be at the core of our thinking. At Ubisoft, we value these internal exchanges and think they help make our games and our company stronger. However, sharing confidential information, including from internal forums, is a violation of our employment agreement and, more importantly, a violation of the trust that team members place in each other to be able to freely express themselves and have candid, productive discussions. In light of that, we won't comment further, end quote. It's a reasonable statement. Technology is a means, not an end, and achieving a desired goal sometimes required long, difficult conversations. Ubisoft's biggest problem so far is that it hasn't been able to explain what the end is in this case. In December 2021, the French trade union Solidaire Informatique criticized blockchain technology as, quote, useless, costly, and ecologically mortifying, end quote, and said that it brings, quote, no improvements or benefits to our games, end quote. A lot of productive discussions going on between employees and management at Ubisoft, you think, Moody?
It sounds like it. Very productive. Very productive indeed.
Have they responded to any of the demands set out by a better Ubisoft yet? Or are we not at that level of productive?
We're not at that level of productiveness, Amy. Not at all. They want to ignore this so they can talk about NFTs and blockchains and all this craziness.
Did I read right? Because this is from a bigger story. Like, did I read right that they tried to smooth it over by giving everybody NFTs?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
yep.
It's just amazing.
This is how awesome it is. Have one.
Yeah, look, here's a fucking helmet for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It's an NFT. We minted you an NFT. Why are you screaming at us? Like, as far as like corporations missing the point, I feel like that's got to be in the top 20.
Why aren't you appreciative of our gift? Be appreciative.
We know you hate NFTs, so we
And
got
I know
you
you hate
something.
us right now.
So we got you something.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think the one employee literally nailed it that they are literally going for a worst company in America.
In the world?
So. In the world, even, yeah. It's like I think it's just America who has that award in it.
Yeah,
I might be just
it's
wrong.
like a
So.
stupid. It's like a poll almost, I think, because people vote
Yeah,
for it.
but
That's how EA won it,
might be
not like
funny.
Exxon.
Yeah.
You know, an
Yeah, but
actually terrible company, like an actually ecologically devastating company. But
yeah, but no, it's like again, it's like the same thing like with Team17. Like I hope it gets better for you for the staff at Ubisoft and everything. Like Ubisoft, like have a rich history where I've said it multiple times, and we want to be talking about them in a better light. But Ubisoft, you make it so goddamn easy to not like you.
I mean,
Like,
this was
come on.
yeah. I thought
Like,
we were getting towards the end of the week, and I legit thought, like, fuck, there's going to be no
nothing
Ubisoft and no Activision stuff to talk about.
They
And then they
heard ya.
both just
They
went,
heard ya.
fucking boom, have this. We're going to give our employees NFTs.
They fucking
What
heard you
the
at the
fuck
end.
are you doing? Like, do you think they did the same speech they did? You know, the story we read was it last week or the week before, where the Ubisoft VP was like, look, we hear you, but you just don't get it. Do you think they just did the same thing to like all of their employees? Like, you just don't get it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like, we're good. Basically, their words is like, we're plowing ahead if you like it or not. You're either on board or you're not. And this is the thing about it. Like,
Yeah.
but they have such a grip on them, basically.
Yeah.
It's shown that they are too afraid to leave, and I would never want you to leave or anything like that. Because
It's
that's your
difficult to
dream
find a
job
new
and everything.
job. Like, you can't just snap your fingers and go, "Pooh, I don't like it
Yeah.
here, so I'm getting a new job." It's like that's not
Yeah.
how life
Yeah.
works.
That's not how life works in general, and I completely appreciate that. And that's the thing about it. They have such a grip on them. It's the only way. Like, I'll stand by what I said. The only way that I think they can do something is like the only way to hurt them is to hurt them where it hurts. That's with the money. And like the QAs at Raven did that with Call of Duty. That game is broken right now, and still broken. You could literally just do a protest and protest till the end of it. And we've seen like the ABK one, they set up a GoFundMe to help support the QAs. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be very surprised if the Ubisoft one did not do the same thing for people to come in and try and hopefully support these people. And hopefully, like I said, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have to come to this. That's the worst thing about it. It should never have to come to this. A management should know this is a bad thing. We are hurting our staff. We should maybe not do this. No, we want money. Keep on money.
Yeah.
Planet burning. We need more money.
Everybody talking about NFTs and to the moon. Therefore, we must be able to make a lot of money out of this somehow. I'm starting to get the suspicion that the executives who are pushing hard for NFTs and blockchain and the metaverse don't understand what these things actually are. Because Ubisoft clearly doesn't seem to understand what's going on. And there was a thing, Bandai Namco were like, we're going to make a metaverse, like a separate metaverse for every single one of our franchises. And like, but that you don't understand. Like, one, I'm not hugely into the concept of the metaverse, but like, do you understand what the metaverse is? It's supposed to be a thing, and you connect everything together. And you're talking about taking all of your franchises and making separate metaverses. Those are just video games. Like, you're talking about making video games. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't think they understand. Like, I think the people who get it, or the executives who get it, are the ones who are literally right now going, no comment, or, you know what? It's not something we're looking into right now. Like, this doesn't seem worth it. Doesn't seem worth it, because it's not.
Come on, man. EA are backing out of it, man. or being very quiet about it right
No,
now.
no,
And
like
they're
Andrew
saying
Wilson
it's
legitimately said it last
not
week.
in the future. Basically, he
He
did.
just
Yeah,
said we're not
it's like
pushing hard on it.
yeah, like he's known, he's seen the writing on
And
the wall, and
he
like
had a fucking
if
orgasms for it the last time they did a fucking investors call.
and this is the thing about it, Ubisoft. If a company like EA, who I'm just going to state this to you, Ubisoft, understand what I'm going to say to you right now, Ubisoft. EA is fucking bigger than you. If they know, you fucking know.
God damn.
I can appreciate you want to make money. I can, but that's not the way. And this is the thing about it. Like, this hasn't died down. That's the beauty of it, I guess. It's not dying down. Everybody's still talking about it. Everyone's still crapping on any company who says they're going to do it. They get smashed straight away
Yeah.
saying, no, don't do this type of thing. And I hope this will keep on pushing, and hopefully will stop it. Hopefully. Or at
Yeah.
least postpone it for as long as it can go.
Because it was sort of like the last few months of 2021 where like a lot of gaming companies, this is a gaming podcast, a lot of gaming companies came out and sort of said, hey, NFTs are the future, blockchain is the future, we're going to do stuff with that, like we're going to fuck around with that. And like the backlash was instantaneous and immediate. And then like the turn of the year, you had like the Stalker 2 thing and the Team17 thing and Ubisoft's thing.
The Troy Baker thing.
The Troy Baker thing. And it's like it's not. I watched that podcast, by the way, and I want to punch him in the fucking face. Like, we'll talk about that afterwards. So there was one thing he said where I was just like, cool. You don't understand what it's like to be poor. But I appreciated Mike Bithell and Alana Pierce on that podcast a lot though. But yeah, like the backlash isn't dying down like it normally would.
Yeah.
What I think they thought was going to happen was they were going to do their announcement, everybody was going to kick off, and then a few months down the line it'd be fine because of the kickoff, the backlash would have been played out, and then they could have done it, and people would have still been upset, but there wouldn't have been like such a massive backlash to it. But the massive backlash is still here. This is what I was saying when we were talking about it with Joseph last week. I was like, this one feels different, and I hope it is different because it's not stopping. Team17 found that out the hard way.
Like, and they're a small company,
and they got fucked.
Yeah.
And why do companies keep going in? Like it's like the fucking Arrested Development meme where it's just like, did it work for them? Oh no, it didn't work for them. Like it never works for anyone, but it could work for us. Like,
pretty much, yeah. Like, I hope, like I say, like, what I'll tell you this right now. Like, Microsoft haven't said anything about. Like, I think Phil Spencer
basically said, "No, we're not touching
no,
that."
Like Sony haven't said anything about it. No one, like, a lot of companies are staying way away from this and everything, and it's like Ubisoft just seem like they are pushing ahead if their staff, their fans like it or not. And I'm going to be very fascinated to whatever their showcase is, whenever it is, E3 time, quote unquote.
If they're really going to push on with this, they're going to reveal a blockchain game.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. They're going to reveal something that's going to be either a blockchain game chain, or it's going to be like, buy these NFTs type of things with this game type of thing, and it's going to be the most audible.
It's going to set the place on fire.
Fire, yeah. It's gonna go insane, and I'm gonna love. I'll say this right now to you, Ubisoft defenders out there. Please come out and force, because I want to see you burn.
Please come to our stream. We are going to be watching the Ubisoft thing. I know I am, and
fall so badly.
The entire time, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go, Assassin's Creed, that's interesting. Do you want to know a fun fact about Assassin's Creed, Moody? And you're going to go, what's the fun fact about Assassin's Creed? And I'm going to go, the fun fact about Assassin's Creed is Ubisoft spent decades covering for sexual harassment and sexual abuse in the workplace. And that's going to be my fun fact for every game.
You turned me on there. I'm not gonna.
And you know what? People might say that joke's gonna get old real quick because Ubisoft conferences are 2 hours long, and I'm gonna go, you haven't seen how stubborn I am. I will commit to the bit for however long it takes. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
You know what? Like, we've talked about some heavy topics and some shit topics, but I'm really liking the energy of this podcast. I think we've done a good one today.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Sifu may be getting difficulty modes after all. This is from Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer, who writes, Slow Clap has committed to improving the accessibility of its new fighting game, Sifu. Talking to accessibility advocate and blind gamer Steve Saylor on a recent Twitch gaming stream, Slow Clap co-founder Pierre Tarno said that Sifu will be getting accessibility updates post-launch, including improved captioning, a high contrast mode for PS4 and PS5 as well as PC, and difficulty modes. The commitment to introducing difficulty modes is an interesting one and contradicts the studio's previous claims that instead of easier modes, the team wanted the game to, quote, challenge players and encourage them to learn. End quote. Tano said back in November, quote, we want Sifu to challenge players and to encourage them to learn, improve, and adapt. The ability to rise up from death will help new players by allowing them to fail and try again multiple times when they face difficulty, but the price of mistakes will rapidly increase, and in order to fully complete the game, they will have to master the combat system, end quote. Although Tano stopped short of detailing when the accessibility features will be implemented, they said the team is, quote, considering and planning for difficulty modes and will announce something to that end pretty soon, end quote. Some players responding to the news, Some players responded to the news exactly as you may well expect. Quote, easy mode shouldn't have a platinum trophy route, in my opinion, get good, end quote, insisted one Twitterer. In response to Sailor's tweet, it's just one Twitter.
His name was Taylor.
Sailor, Steve Sailor. Steve Sailor.
I thought his name was Steve Taylor.
While another
Sorry, I was there in the wrong name.
while another opined, quote, having an easy mode defeats the idea of learning and adapting. I hope they rethink this and keep the difficulty intact, end quote. They are keeping the difficulty intact, you fucking shit stand. They're just adding more.
I love how this entire article was literally saying the word accessibility, which is what is easy modes and hard modes or whatever. Like it's
and all the other
nothing,
stuff, high contrast mode, etc.
Yeah, it's about accessibility. Like this, you know what? Like we've just been saying about a game or a company. Like I can understand you want to make money, Sifu. Why would you not want to make money with not having an accessibilities in your game to make it a lot more, it's fair to say, easier. Yes, I will now. I'm going to play this game now. I can't wait to play this game now because I hear nothing but great things about this game,
right,
and I want to try it. I will now be able to do this. I'll call out Celeste. Celeste, hard game, but had an accessibility mode that made the game not only enjoyable for me to still play it, to enthrall myself with the story and fall for it, and it was in my top 5 games of that year. So shut up. Shut up, you ignorant people.
Real talk, sidebar, if I ever find the time again to do another retrospective, it's definitely Celeste is the next one I'm going to do. But getting back to Sifu, I always say I don't feel necessarily comfortable talking about accessibility options and like how good or bad a game is accessibility because I don't use accessibility options because I don't need them and I don't feel comfortable saying that like this game has great accessibility. Like
that's fair.
I don't know if it does or if it doesn't. I just listen to people like Steve Saylor tell me whether it does or it doesn't, and I trust them. But like to go to difficulty for a second, the quote from Tano back in November is so incredibly short-sighted that it actively makes me cringe. We want Sifu to challenge players, to encourage them to learn, improve, and adapt. And it's like, that's great. I love that for you. That's fantastic. But guess what, Mr. Tano? Not everybody experiences challenge in the same way. Not everybody has the same set of skills. Me and Moody could sit down and play a Bloodborne, and I can sit here and go, it's one of my favorite games ever made, and I think the challenge level of that game is perfect. It's not perfect for Moody. Like, if there was a way to modify the game just a little bit so that Moody could still experience the same level of challenge that I'm experiencing, not make the game easier for him, so that he could have the same experience that I'm having. Not so he could just face roll through the whole game. This is what it's about.
Yeah, that's what it is all about. It's about so I can experience a game.
Yeah.
Like I've said it on multiple occasions. I've only realized it over the last few years. I have severe slow hand-eye coordination. Like my eyes will see it, but my hands will not move. Nope.
Yeah. So if there was a way to, because obviously like a lot of Bloodborne, to use Bloodborne as, I haven't played Sifu. To use Bloodborne as the example, a lot of Bloodborne is about learning into enemy patterns and timing dodges or parries. So you don't need to make it so that Moody can turn on God mode and smash everything in Bloodborne. Like, you would just need to figure out how to make it so that you could take Moody's reaction times into account.
Yeah.
And we can have the same experience. I can have an experience which I find challenging. Moody can have an experience which he finds challenging.
But acceptable
but
for my
not
level.
Impossible.
Yeah. That's the thing. This is the thing. Like, I've decided I'm going to be renting Horizon. I'm going to get the PlayStation 4 out. I'm going to dust it off. You're going to hear it fly off.
I'll call the fire department.
Something like that, yeah. But I've also got the week after is obviously Elden Ring. I'm going to give Elden Ring a go, but I am petrified of that game.
You know what? I talked about this in my Bloodborne retrospective, where it's like there is like games like From Software games and Sifu itself that psych me out to the point where I before I've even touched them, I'm like, I can't do this. I didn't pick up Sifu. I mentioned it to Joseph last week when he was talking about it because he played it. I didn't pick it up because I didn't want that experience of a challenging game right before I'm about to play a challenging game in Elden Ring.
A game should challenge you, but not actively make you angry.
Yeah.
And Joe himself said it made him angry.
Yeah.
He sees it. He sees why people are enjoying it and loving it. Like, but even he's like you. He loves Bloodborne. Bloodborne is, I think it's arguably his favorite game of all time, or at least up there with God of War. I think he flips and flops a lot.
See, this is why I always say one of, because I say that about a bunch of games, and I've never actually sat down to figure out where.
Well, I remember he had an emotional experience when it came to God of War. But anyway, he loves Bloodborne, just like you, Amy. And but he struggled with Sifu, for God's sakes. Like, come on.
Well, it's like,
it's insane, man.
It's like I'll struggle with a game that Moody will not struggle with as much, because again, people are challenged differently by different things, and that's what difficulty options are all about. It's about equity, not equality. It's about us having the same experience with the same game. Like, if Bloodborne had a normal mode and an easy mode, I played it on normal and Moody played it on easy, the chances are we'd both experience the game in a very similar way.
Hell yeah, I honestly think that, yeah.
That's how that works.
I truly do. And that's the thing about it. What I hate about this. I know I've seen people, some people out there saying that the creators create. Let the creator put out the game they want to put out and everything like that. I understand that argument, and for the most part, I do agree with it. But I'll still say, but you should never shun away accessibility. It's unfair to corner off a portion of gamers who won't be able to play your game because you're not willing to throw in accessibility. Put in the accessibility options to make the game better for us to be able to play, allow us to be able to play. Like, I played The Last of Us Part 2. Arguably the greatest game with accessibility ever. I think nothing's been topped by. I don't think anyone's topped it yet. So I might be wrong there, but that game, when it came to accessibility, was amazing. But I even tried some of the other options of accessibility, like finding stuff and fighting monsters.
Really helped me find everything.
Yeah, it was but it was amazing. I was just like, oh wow, this is so. My brain literally just went, this is so helpful for me. That's how I felt. I didn't think, oh, this makes the game easier. I literally just went, this makes it so much more helpful for me. And I love it, and I fell even more in love with that game. I really need to play that game again. But I need to stop doing that. But
I do it myself all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, accessibility needs to stop being shunned. People seriously stop it.
I agree. And again, I'm just talking about, for me personally, I was just talking about difficulty options. But yeah, accessibility, I want all the accessibility options. I want them all in all games, and I don't understand why that's hard. It shouldn't be. Sorry, it just shouldn't be. Should we do some tidbits?
I know you've deleted it, but I really wanted to talk about that last story as well. But we are short of time. I can appreciate that.
We are. I can read the statement if you want to talk about it, but we might go.
No.
Well, basically, we can do it as a tidbit, right?
Okay.
Martha is Dead, an upcoming psychological horror game, which is definitely recommended for mature audiences. I've been following along with this game's development. Is having some scenes taken out of the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versions of the game, which is still going to be in the Xbox and PC versions. I think that's a good summary of the situation.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect summary, actually. I can see why people are annoyed by this. I really can. But there's like scenes online that I've seen, and I'm like, I can see why PlayStation have done that and said, please, no, we're gonna have to try and sort something out here. And I can understand it. There's a scene that I've seen, like someone's cutting a person's face skin off and pulling their skin off. What's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and I completely can understand why they would not want to have that, or at least be seen in the game. I can understand that. Like, it's a gratuitous thing. For me, at the end of the day, it wouldn't bother me, but I understand where they're coming from. And I don't think it's very black and white. I think it's a very grey area where PlayStation just would not want the PR, the potential PR disaster that could come with this game. As much as I'm excited for this game, because if I remember, Martha is Dead, done by Devolver?
No, it's not.
No. Oh, well, my apologies then. I thought it was. But either way, yeah, I can understand where people are coming from, but I'm not surprised.
I'm looking forward to this because it's my kind of jam. I'm never going to stream this game ever. And this story is one of the reasons why it wasn't something I felt comfortable putting out on Twitch. Two things about this.
If you don't mind, let me just but shout out to them saying it had warnings and everything. Apparently, it has a ton of warnings.
Of course. Yeah.
We are completely pro that because a lot of games do not put enough warnings out there.
Like the good warnings. Two things about this. One, it's been a struggle to take this game seriously because it's called Martha is Dead, and I've seen Batman v Superman. And two,
why did I think you were going to bring that up? I knew you were going to say that.
And two, it's just there are games that are going to tackle very risky subjects in a very serious manner. The developer of this game themselves has a history of bringing
uncomfortable
themes. Yeah, let's go with uncomfortable things, but doing it in a positive way. You know what I mean? Handling it well, because the Town of Light did something similar, which is the developer's previous game. That PlayStation have done this. I mean, they've done this before. They did this with Devil May Cry 5, and got memed on because they put those shiny things in front of some of the nudity. But I mean, they've played The Last of Us Part 2, right?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. That was my reaction. I'm not going to sit here and shout censorship like the censorship gamer bros, but I was just y'all played The Last of Us Part 2, right? Because
I understand.
It's a fucked up game.
Yeah, I agree. It's just at the end of the day, PlayStation is PlayStation. Like you just said, they don't really showing off naked boobies and all like that. They and all like that. They're very particular.
That's why
when
in
it
this
comes
house
to that.
we stand Xbox. Big fan of the boobies and the butts. What's happening?
She's not wrong.
She's
not wrong here.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong there. You're not wrong, Amy.
Instagram,
but yeah,
Instagram.com/reallydrablood.
Yeah. We're losing it.
I'm losing
but no,
it.
yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. Well, PlayStation's going to PlayStation at the end of the day. But I do see why, though. I do see why.
Again, like I said, I followed this. game for a while. So
Yeah.
we're doing tidbits, and I'm looking at something else because I've got some fun facts that I think you're gonna find interesting about this next story. Lost Ark now has the second highest concurrent player count in Steam history, which I'd pulled from Andrea Sheeran over at Fanbyte. So on its launch day, it had 1.325 million players concurrently, which is the second biggest concurrent player total in Steam's history, like ever, of all time. Now, I'm curious. I'm going to ask you this question. I'm very curious. Well, that's fantastic for Lost Ark, just before I start doing a quiz. That's
Lost
fucking
Ark,
awesome. Like some 400,000 people watched the Twitch streamer streaming no gameplay because they delayed the launch because the servers were having a meltdown, which I find really funny. What do you think the number one game is?
Final Fantasy 14.
What if I said it wasn't?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Like the number one, so this, like the most people playing this game at all at the same time on Steam. The answer might surprise you, but when I tell you what it is, you'll probably think it shouldn't surprise me.
Won't. Yeah.
It's PUBG.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
No, that's not a surprise.
Remember when
that
PUBG
game
was
massive in, I believe, Korea.
Just remember when PUBG was like literally everything.
Yeah.
But so the all-time peak, I know, right? The all-time peak for Lost Ark was 1.3 million. Mm-hmm. How much higher do you think PUBG's all-time concurrent player peak is?
Say that number again.
1.3 million.
3 million.
Yeah, 3.2 million. Because I thought when I clicked on it, I was like, I wonder how many players it needs to get to be number. Whoa, my god!
Oh my god!
It's 2 million behind.
Thing about it. This is the crazy thing about it. This is what what annoys me. I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent today. What annoys me with streamers, and what I mean by this is that they say, "Oh, the game is dead because it's not getting views on Steam."
Yeah,
I can tell you this right now. Literally, streamers, listen to me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm the captain now.
The developers don't give a fuck. It's a nice caveat, but if their number is higher, if their concurrent player number is higher than what the Steam number is, which one do you think they care about most?
I'm just gonna throw out.
Honestly,
I'm just gonna throw out here. There are currently 108,000 people playing PUBG. In the past 24 hours, that number has been 522,000. PUBG is very far from a dead game.
And I bet that number was very small on Steam for people playing it.
Oh no, this is just Steam. This is just Steam. Oh yeah.
No, I mean streaming
it.
Yeah. I mean streaming it. I bet
streamers
number of
are a good part of influencing things, right? But
no doubt.
They're a smaller part than I think some of the bigger ones like to think that they are.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Because I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at the top 10 and Final Fantasy 14 isn't in it.
Yeah. Pokemon, I bet, isn't.
Well, it wouldn't be. It's just Steam. These are just Steam.
I thought you were meaning. I thought you were looking at this.
No.
Twitch concurrent
numbers.
Twitch.
No. I'm looking at the Steam numbers.
Yeah. And yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is not a dead game.
It's not, isn't it? No, it's not. In fact, I'm scrolling down to try and find it. There are some fascinating games in here, by the way. Final Fantasy isn't on the page, which has 100 games on it, so it's never been in the top 100. For
and yet
all-time
that was one
peak.
of the best. And yet that released the add-on last year. That was one of the best rated game last year.
So the all-time peak. So I'm talking most amount of players logged in all at once on Steam. I'm going to do the top 10 really quickly. Obviously, number 1 is PUBG. Number 2 is Lost Ark. Number 3 is Counter-Strike, which makes perfect sense. Number 4 is Dota 2. Number 5 is Cyberpunk 2077.
No way.
Yeah, 1 million all logged in at the same time playing Cyberpunk 2077. Number 6 is New World.
That's not a surprise.
Which doesn't surprise me. Number 7 is Valheim. But we're talking we're already down to 500,000. It's been a steep drop off. Number 8 is Terraria. Number 9 is gonna blow your mind. Number 9 is Capcom Arcade Stadium. I don't even know what that is. Like
Yeah.
it had at some point it had 488,000 people playing it. In the last 24 hours, the highest number is 26. So, number 10 is Fallout 4.
That's not a surprise.
Number 11, just for you, is Life is Strange 2.
What about True Colors? Where's the third one, you motherfuckers? No, but yeah, Life is Strange 2 is awesome. No, no, yeah, I can appreciate
There's
it.
some
Life is
wild
Strange
things on
2
here.
is number 11
Was
in
the
concurrent
11th
players right now.
all-time peak concurrent players on Steam.
That's insane. Respect to Life is Strange 2. Good game.
Your Master Duel is 27th.
Over what was it? 500 downloads, was it? Or 50 downloads?
I think it's on like 10 million downloads or something now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 10 million downloads.
It was 262,698. In the last 24 hours, 123,000 was the highest number. I'm just seeing if there are, and I'm just really quickly scrolling through just to see if anything just really surprising jumps out at me, but it doesn't. Like Phasmophobia is 90th. Like it goes back to your point about streaming and streamers, because that game was everything on Twitch for a while, but it never got that high in terms of people actually playing it. And I'm not knocking any of these games in any way. I'm literally just focusing on numbers at this point. There's a game on here called Fortified. One person is currently playing it. Shout out to that one person playing Fortified. I see you.
We see you.
We see you. Let's get through the rest of the tidbits really quickly, because we've still got other things to do and time. Horizon Zero Dawn has sold over 20 million copies on PC and PlayStation. I pulled that directly from
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yep.
Well done. I know the PC port was apparently a very bumpy ride. I think it's fair to say. Yeah. But yeah, big congratulations to them.
I want to save this one for next week, so I'm going to delete it because I want to talk about it a bit more than just pointing it out. So Platinum Games studio heads Atsushi Inaba and Hideki Kamiya revealed in an interview that they would like to revive Scalebound with Microsoft, pulled from PC gamers Robert Zack.
Fuck off. Fuck off, the game's dead. I'm sick of hearing about this game. At the end of the day, you guys were the ones who were in charge of making this game be good, and you, obviously, Microsoft saw what you were creating and it was not good. Fuck off.
The only
if
thing
you
I
want
will
to speak to Phil Spencer, you email the bastard instead of calling them out.
The one thing I will say is, because when Scalebound was cancelled, it's wild to think, but Microsoft was Xbox was a completely different platform at the time
compared to what it is now. Yeah,
so,
Scalebound is dead. I'm sorry, it's never coming back. I'll say that. I'm 100% sure that game's never coming back. It's gonna get announced at E3.
What if it does? What are you gonna do if it does?
I'll shave my hair.
You gonna do that? Oh, never mind. Valve is releasing CAD files so people can 3D print.
It gives me time to create the bushy beard.
Look, I'm gonna say it, like, I did that for a charity stream. I was like, if we hit such and such, I'll dye my hair red. And I was gonna do that anyway, so it didn't matter. Yeah. Valve is releasing CAD files so people can 3D print their own Steam Deck shells from Vicky Blake over at Eurogamer. That's fascinating to me. They're gonna let people print their own shells for it. Like, you got PlayStation out here literally suing people so that they can't do that for their PS5s, and then Valve's just like, yeah, go for it, whatever. We don't care. Here's the file to make it easier for you.
I'm curious. Quickly, do you have thoughts of getting a Steam Deck eventually?
Yeah, definitely. Like, at the moment, like, I need a new graphics card. It's painfully obvious to me for like a year now that I need a new graphics card. Unfortunately, crypto exists, so there's no way I'm going to be able to get a graphics card at a reasonable price. Steam Deck is very reasonable, like, as a gaming machine. Like, I can afford, like the amount of money I would spend on a Steam Deck, an entire machine to play video games on, like, would be maybe what I would pay for a good graphics card.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I've been thinking which one I have, so I can go up to so I can look at how much the next level one is for me.
A lot of money.
It's not going to be one of those three 370s or whatever they're called.
I don't know what you got, but we can find out. Lastly, new Super Mario 64 speedrun world record is 6 minutes and 27 seconds. What the fuck? They're beating that game in 6 minutes.
Hey, I'm still surprised someone beat Dragon Age in half an hour. So
I don't believe it, and I watched the video.
Yeah, I know.
Someone beat Sekiro blindfolded in like 2 hours. What the fuck? Yeah, we're running out of time, moods. This is twice. But it's weird that this has happened twice, where it's like, hey, it's time for games out this week. But that's the exact moment this has happened. Hello?
Sorry, I got bugged there.
I know, it's just, I was pointing out, it's like 2 podcasts in 2022 where it's time for games that, oh, no, wait, Moody's there.
I got questioned about something because I had to answer. Sorry.
That's fine. I just find it funny. It's like, it's weird that it's happened twice. It's the timing. Anyway, games out. I'm going
to put a sign up next week.
It's time for Moody's. It's time Moody's time to speak.
Oh, cool.
I need a peek back.
Oh, there's only 3 games. Cool. Games out this week, everybody. Infinix, PlayStation, Xbox, Game Pass, Switch, and PC. It's an adventure game of a great knight who returns to his homeland only to find it plagued with unholy magic. Uncover the mysteries of the curse and face the consequences of your actions. Wait, what? Total Warhammer 3 PC and Game Pass. The conclusion to the Total War Warhammer trilogy is coming. Rally your forces and step into the realm of chaos, a dimension of mind-bending horror where the very fate of the world will be decided. Will you conquer your demons or command them? No, there's 4 games. Sorry. The King of Fighters 15. Wow, there's been 15 of these. PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Transcend beyond your limits.
What?
Transcend beyond your limits with King of Fighters 15. It's been 15 of them apparently. And lastly, arguably the biggest game coming out next week, the main one, Horizon Forbidden West, PlayStation. Join Aloy as she braves the Forbidden West, a majestic but dangerous frontier that conceals mysteries, new threats, explore distant lands, fight bigger and more awe-inspiring machines, and encounter astonishing new tribes as you return to the far future post-apocalyptic world of Horizon.
Oh, Moody, I'm so sorry. Something's happened on OpenCritic. You know how we both always check just to see, and it never happens. It happened. It's time for OpenCritic head-to-head. This is the game myself and Moody play every single week, where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever guesses closest to the score gets 1 point. If you guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, myself, Moody, and Joseph tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Lost Ark. I guessed it would get an 82. Moody guessed it would get an 85. Joseph guessed it would get an 80. And at the time of recording the podcast, Lost Ark has an OpenCritic average of 83. 3 hours ago, when I put the podcast notes together, it had an OpenCritic average of 84. So here we guess the point, and that puts the current scores at 82. Moody won. That has never happened before. And it's never happened before. 2 years. What is it? 2 years? 3 years we've been doing this game? I don't know what to say. Thank you, God. This week we're trying to guess the OpenCritic average of Horizon Forbidden West, which Moody just read all about. And I will remind Moody as he death stares the camera, We were out of time like 10 minutes ago. So, what do you think it's gonna get, Moody?
This is an interesting one. I won't lie. Like they've been pushing a lot about like the new mechanics of this game and everything. When you've like when they've shown little tidbits of the game, and I'm excited to see what this game's going to do and where it's going to go. First game doesn't have an OpenCritic score on it, so I had to go to Metacritic to see what they had.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
That is fascinating. I typed in Horizon Zero Dawn and nope, nothing came up. What's just going to come up?
There it is.
Isn't it?
I know what it got.
What did it get?
It got an 89.
So that's same as Metacritic. I'm going to go for it.
88. No.
What?
I just assumed you were going to say 88. Sorry, 2021's.
Oh. I thought you called me an idiot.
Oh, no. God,
you idiot.
No. No,
I was like, excuse me?
I thought you were just going to go 88. No, 2021 rotted my brain. I'm sorry.
91.
Oof, 91.
I think it's going to get a high score.
Hope it doesn't. Keith's got it in Fantasy Critic, which we'll be checking in with next week.
We said that last week.
I know, but then we spent fucking ages talking about Steam concurrent players.
Stop putting too many stories on there then.
Like, right, okay, Marie, if you think I put too many stories on, you're very welcome to leave. I get an 89, so that's going to do it for episode 292 of the Words About Games podcast. Thank you very much for watching. If you've been watching, thank you very much for listening. If you've been listening, yeah, that's going to do it. Normally I'd say bye, Mooney, but Mooney's not here, so I guess I'll just say bye, Amy. Bye, Amy.